Are you scared to leave nursing because you are afraid of what your family or your friends might think or say? Honestly, if you answer yes to that question, you're not alone. And sometimes that fear of what other people will say, what other people will think, the people who are closest to us, can feel heavier or just as heavy as actually quitting nursing and walking away. So let's talk about how to handle the judgment that might come when you decide that nursing is no longer something that you want to do. Hey, my name is Mel. I'm a former registered nurse turned mentor. I now help nurses who want to transition out of nursing, but they're afraid to do it. So our family, our loved ones, they care about us and they want what's best for us. They want us to be safe. They want us to be secure. They want us to be stable. But the thing is, your family, your friends, your loved ones, they only see those parts of what nursing is providing for you. But what they don't see, what they don't feel, more importantly, is the long shifts, the 12-hour shifts, the 8-hour shifts, the long shifts that feel like an eternity. They don't see the crying in the car before shifts. They don't feel the anxiety that comes with having to show up to a job that causes pressure, anxiety, overwhelm, stress, and that's constantly having you go in and out of these burnout cycles. They don't feel what that does to your body inside. They don't feel what that does to your mind. They don't see the tears that come before a shift. They don't feel the dread that comes before a shift, during a shift, after a shift, when you think about having to go into your next shift. They don't feel the anxiety that comes before you go to clock into work. They're not clocking in. They don't see that side of things. They don't feel that side of things. Even if you share certain things with them, they don't feel what it's like to actually be in your position, to actually be a nurse. So if they judge, that's not about you. That has everything to do with their own fears, their own perceptions of what security and stability is, their own internal battles, their own perspectives and experiences. Your family, they want you to be safe, they want you to be stable, they want you to be secure. But if they took a certain path, or if they were always taught that they had to do things a certain way, it might be hard for them to see anything outside of that, especially when it comes to you and wanting you to succeed. But then that comes back to, what is their version of success versus your own? Does their version of succeeding come with the burnout, the stress, the hard work, the anxiety, all the things that you're feeling, that you're silently suffering with? Are you willing to continue to pay that price, to get their approval, to get their validation, to get their support? I want you to hold on to this. Their judgment has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them, what they allow themselves to have, their version of success, their perspectives, their experiences. So their judgment says more about where they are and what they're doing than it has to do with you. So I want to give you a few practical things that you can do to handle the judgment, to handle the misunderstandings that come when you decide to quit nursing. So if the judgment does come up, this is how you're going to handle it. So the first thing that you need to do is really get clear on your why. I want you to reflect on why you feel it's time for you to walk away from nursing. Write it down. Anchor it in. Really get to the nitty gritty, like the deep reason why you feel in your heart it's time for you to quit nursing. So write down your reasons for leaving. Write down what it feels like to be a nurse and why you're deciding to do something different. So when you write down the reasons why you're leaving, whenever the doubt creeps in, whenever the fear of judgment or fear of what people think, or if somebody says something to you about it, go back to your why so that you can see on paper, you can see clearly, like, this is my decision, this is what I'm choosing, and this is why I'm choosing it. So you can get more used to seeing it, you can get more used to owning it, and you can get more used to really honoring your decision in spite of what people might think, in spite of being misunderstood, in spite of people judging you. And what I've learned in life is that when people judge you, they really aren't judging you. They're really judgmental towards themselves. They're judgmental towards their own paths. So really get clear on your why and really keep it somewhere that you can see and double down on it when you need to. Next, I want you to remember that this is their fear. This is their fear and their projections. It's not yours. So when people push against something that you want to do or something that you want to try or something new that you're interested in, that has everything to do with them. That has everything to do with their fears and their projections that they're putting onto you. And it's something that's done so unconsciously. It's not like they're trying to project or like they're intentionally doing it. And it really has everything to do with what they've allowed themselves to do, what they've allowed themselves to try, what they've allowed themselves to explore. So maybe they secretly wanted to try something, or they stayed too long in a career or a relationship or in a situation, and they didn't have the courage to walk away. They didn't have the courage to choose themselves. So they're only going to be able to support you to the level that they've been able to support themselves. So you know how they say your self-worth is the ceiling? It's like their perception and their experiences is the ceiling of what they feel is possible or is the best thing or is the best thing for you. But at the end of the day, nobody knows what's best for you except you. Nobody feels what it's like to be you. Nobody's in your body 24/7. Nobody's in your mind 24/7. Nobody's, like I said earlier, nobody's going in to clock into your shifts. Nobody's dealing with the dread, the anxiety, the overwhelm, and the burnout cycles that you're constantly dealing with, and that pressure. Nobody has the full picture, the entire picture. And we think 50 to 70,000 thoughts a day. Nobody's in your mind. So nobody knows you like you. Nobody knows your intuition. Nobody feels your intuition. So you really have to learn to build that muscle up and to trust that over what others might think, over what others might say, over the misunderstandings that may come up when you decide to quit nursing. I want you to remember that their judgment, their fears, their worries, and even your own judgment, your own fears, your own worries about this decision does not mean that you're wrong for wanting to quit nursing. It does not mean that you are making the wrong decision. It just means that it's different, it's new, it's something outside your comfort zone, it's something that will challenge you in a different way. So it really helps to be open to that idea, to get clear, to be open, and to allow yourself to have this new chapter, this new identity that you want. So the next thing you can do is learn how to set boundaries with love. But learn how to set boundaries. This is just like a life skill in general, but especially when it comes to you deciding to walk away from a career, a profession, your nursing identity, learning how to set boundaries with love is so important. And I can relate to this with my journey. Like, I'll say my parents are extremely supportive of me, of my path, of my decisions. But I know my parents were proud of me for being a nurse. I know my family was proud of me for being a nurse. And I know deep down, my dad specifically, he doesn't really understand my decision and why I decided to do what I do, but that didn't stop me from making my choice. They respect me, they respect my decisions. They know that like I'm able to make my own decisions to make sure I'm good. So even though they didn't get it, like along the way, I've had to learn how to just set healthy boundaries. Set certain boundaries with love, not from a place of frustration or annoyance or feeling bitter about them asking you questions about what the next chapter looks like, because sometimes you don't know, but from a place of owning your decision, trusting your intuition, and allowing yourself to try a new path and to be curious about a new path and to head in that direction. I don't know if you can hear my dog barking. I hope not. So you don't owe anybody a full business plan or a full explanation about your plans, about your decision, about what it is that you decide to do with your life. So if this does come up with your family or with your loved ones, setting a boundary with love. So an example could be you saying something like this, right? I appreciate your concern. I know you care about me. I know you care about my success, my path, but I know that this is the next best step for me. in my journey. That's more than enough, because you know you better than anybody. Of course, you say it with love, you say it with however you know how you share with your family members, but you don't have to do it in like a defensive way. It can be done with love. It can be done with grace. But just expressing that to somebody is huge. Like, you're an adult. You're capable of making your own decisions. You're capable of making good decisions for yourself. You're capable of trying new things. You're capable of creating another life for yourself outside of nursing. The sooner you allow yourself to have that and you trust yourself with that, you trust yourself with that decision and that deep knowing that you are doing what's best for you, the more other people will fall in line. The more other people will feel that confident energy, that convicted energy, that trust that you have in yourself, and then they can't help but reflect that back to you. That's just law, like how the law of attraction, how things work. The more you flip the script in your head, whenever the doubt or the fear or the judgment or misunderstandings from yourself or from others creep in, the more you flip that, the more you allow yourself to trust your decision, the clearer you are on your why and why you're deciding to do this in the first place, the more confident you'll feel in your decision, and the more you'll give yourself that internal permission to quit nursing and to do your own thing, to try new things, to getting into a next chapter that really feels safe for your nervous system, that feels like something that you want to do, that feels like something that's good for your mental health, your physical, emotional, spiritual health. And the people that you love, like, once they see you really owning your decision and you walking in that curiosity and you exploring different things, that inspires them to get out their comfort zone. That inspires them to try new things. If I've learned anything in this journey of me quitting nursing and just living this life of freedom and getting into entrepreneurship and exploring my curiosity and trying new things, it's been that even if my parents and my families don't completely, like 100% understand my decision, they are supportive of me because I confidently own my decision. And me owning that and me trying new things have really allowed them to try new things, to get outside their comfort zone, to try some of the things that I've been trying, and just to not be so serious. We put so much pressure on ourselves to get everything perfect and to get everything right and to have all the answers and to please everybody else. But it's time to start pleasing yourself. It's time to start choosing yourself. It's time to start honoring your own decisions and to allow people to misunderstand you. Allow people to judge you. You won't die. That's what I learned. Like, I used to be so afraid of the judgment and the misunderstandings, but it's like nobody lived my life. Nobody feels what you feel as a nurse. Nobody feels what it feels like to be you and to be in that role. So you owe it to yourself. You owe it to the people you love to really honor yourself, to honor your decisions, and to choose you, to choose a path that's peaceful, to choose a path that you really want to have, to choose a life that you really want to live, that's fulfilling and that feels good, that not only looks good on paper, but that feels good in your body, that feels good in your mind and your soul. And then everybody else is just like so inspired from you, from your decision. Maybe you're the generational curse breaker in your family, like I feel like I am. Maybe you're the one that shows people that there's a new way, or that there's another path outside of the plan A that you had. You can have a plan B, a plan C, D, E, F, G, no matter what it takes to get to the life that you really want to live. And then the people you love, it starts to click and they understand and they support you, or they don't. Some people fall off. But the moral of the story is that you have to keep choosing yourself. You have to keep choosing your why, and you have to stand 10 toes down in that and keep showing up for yourself. And then people will truly support you, and they'll reflect that trust that you have in yourself. They'll reflect that support that you're giving to yourself. So I just want to reiterate that the judgment, the misunderstandings that come from other people, it does not mean you're making the wrong decision. It doesn't mean that your decision to walk away from nursing, to quit nursing, it does not mean that that's the wrong thing to do. It just means that people can only meet you where they are. People can only understand you to the degree of how well they understand themselves and their own decisions. So it doesn't mean you're making the wrong choice. It just means that you're making a different choice, a new choice. That's all. That should not stop you from doing what you feel is right for you. So you're concerned about your family judging you, your loved ones, your friends judging you. It does not mean that you're weak. It doesn't mean that you're lost. It means that your soul is really craving that next chapter, because now you're not only thinking about how it'll affect you, but you're thinking about the other people in your life. And this is all a part of the journey, and it's all a part of the process. But like I said, it's not meant to stop you. It's not meant to stall you. It's not meant to keep you somewhere that you don't want to be. It's meant to expand you. It's meant to expand the people around you, to open up your mind and open up everybody else's mind. And it's such a beautiful, cool journey. It's such a cool journey. Like it's a great journey to take. I will say that. So the same people that's questioning you or judging you or misunderstanding you now might be the same people that are asking you, oh, how did you do this in the future? Once you confidently decide to quit nursing, once you confidently decide to own your next chapter, and you all happy and you're like flourishing and you're uplifting others and you really feeling good within your body, your spirit, your mind, and within yourself, they gonna be like, oh, what did you do? They're gonna want to know the secret, the sauce, the secret formula. But you can have that. Like, you can have everything you want, everything you desire. You just have to give yourself permission to have it. And that gives the people around you, the people that you love, permission to give that to themselves. It's like a domino effect. So recognizing the judgment is one step of this process. The next step is really honoring your decision and giving yourself permission to try something new, to imagine what life looks like on the other side, to imagine what life looks like outside of that nurse identity, outside of that burned out nurse identity. And that's exactly what I help you with. I have a program. The doors are opening late August, early September, and it's called Confidence to Quit Nursing Signature Program. In this program, I help you through this process of going from secretly wanting to quit nursing, but you're too afraid to do it, to confidently owning your decision to quit nursing, to confidently walking into your next chapter in that new identity, the next version of yourself. I take you through my 4-phase framework, and we really dig in. We really do what's necessary to get you to go from that fear that you're currently stuck in to confidence, to own your decision to quit nursing. And I'm so excited. I poured so much into this program, so much love, so much heart, so much of my own experience, and the process that I used to go from that burned out nurse who felt confused, who felt stuck, who felt afraid, into who I am now, which is this confident woman who confidently owns her decision to quit nursing, and now helping you do the same. Subscribe to my channel, like this video. Let me know below what resonates with you. I would love to connect and to just hear more about your journey, more about your story. I'm also creating a free masterclass that's coming in September that will walk you through the mental and emotional mindset shifts that have to take place in order to go through this journey and this process of going from the nurse who's afraid to quit to the woman who confidently owns her decision to quit nursing and start her next chapter. So let me know below if you're coming, if you're looking forward to the masterclass, if you're looking forward to the program, and if you feel like this is something for you, if you feel like this is something you definitely need and that you've been struggling with. I invite you into my world. I invite you into my program, the Confidence to Quit Nursing Signature Program, because we are completely changing up things. I deeply appreciate you. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.